Hey, it is Whitney K, business coach, marketing agency owner, and your host of the Uno Mas podcast, where overwhelmed female entrepreneurs and founders come to get real, actionable advice on how to ditch burnout and build a business that actually works for them. Here you'll access tips, proven strategies, and unfiltered conversations with industry leaders. I feel like everyone's got this big vision these days. 7-figure this, million download that, world domination by Q4. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But here's the thing. Your vision isn't the problem. Your back-end chaos is. And if you're stuck spinning multiple plates at once, busy but not actually scaling, it's not because your dreams are too ambitious. It's because the way your business runs behind the scenes is duct taped together with hope and 15 cups of coffee. And today we're going to pull back the curtain a little bit. We're going to talk about why back-end chaos is quietly bleeding your business dry and what you can do to actually change that. No hype, no just manifest harder advice. We're going to get into it. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so we're going to dig in. Let's talk about where most people don't want to look, and that is behind the scenes. Having a big vision is great, and it's even necessary, but if we don't have the systems to support that vision, then all we're really building is a countdown to basic burnout. It's like, I don't know, saying you're going to run a marathon, right? But you've never actually trained for the marathon. You've never even bought the proper running shoes, and your day-to-day is living off of coffee and energy drinks. You don't even know what proper hydration looks like. And you can get to the starting line and be super motivated and super hyped up, full of big goals, thinking that you're going to run this race and everything's going to be, wonderful. But then 2 miles in, you're breaking down because you've never integrated the systems that you needed to support yourself throughout the duration of the run, let alone just 2 miles in. And the same thing applies with our businesses. Big vision with zero infrastructure, you're basically sprinting towards success, but you're dragging yourself towards an ugly collapse at the end of the day. You can hustle your way through all you think you can with broken operations, but the bigger your business gets, the harder those cracks start to show. And trust me, no amount of passion, caffeine, by the way, I gave up caffeine at the beginning of the year, or Canva graphics is going to save you when the back end can't handle it. For example, I see this all the time. I will see so many creators and business owners crave to go viral on social media, and then a piece of content pops off. Maybe it doesn't even go full-blown viral, but maybe you get tens of thousands of views, thousands of engagements, hundreds of DMs, hundreds of people trafficking over your website, and hopefully hundreds of orders, right? But you have no back-end system to withhold that type of capacity. So everything breaks. I have seen people freak out. They have wanted to sell products, and then they don't even have the products to sell if something were to pop off on social media. You want to build an infrastructure. And more people today, honestly, they're building sand castles that the moment somebody gets near it and is invested in it, it's just going to crumble. There's nothing solid as far as a foundation for these businesses to build off of. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today, is developing that. Now, you might be thinking, okay, well, sure, my back end isn't perfect, but it's not that bad, Whitney. I got it. I got it under control a little bit. Okay. Well, entrepreneurs don't realize that half of the time they are knee deep in back-end chaos because they've gotten used to it. So when I want you to ask yourself, have you gotten used to it? Have you normalized the way things are and just chalked it up to, yeah, everything is cool, I got this, but ultimately, you're dying inside. You are completely overwhelmed and completely burnt out. So it's time to get like brutally honest for a second and see if some of these signs that I'm going to point out are having you living in chaos where you're probably losing time, money, and ultimately your sanity because of it. So here's some ideas, or not ideas, but here's some ways to figure out if you're kind of dealing with this. Number one is you're reinventing the wheel on basic tasks, whether that is daily or weekly. And I'm talking about onboarding, client delivery, maybe you're freestyling every month, something as basic as this: content creation. Are you finding yourself waking up every single day and thinking to yourself, oh, shoot, gotta post something today? And you are spending a couple hours conceptualizing, creating, editing, and then posting. If that is you, you have normalized the madness. And it's time to stop normalizing the madness. Now, there is no problem waking up in the day and thinking, oh, I'm doing this today, I would like to film it. And you end up just like creating the content. That's fine. On the fly content is great, specifically for stories. But if this is you every day and there's no like system, or that you don't have content ideas conceptualized or generated for you to kind of spin off and run off with already for like the next month, then we need to talk. There is a better way to get yourself in a system. You don't have to have everything fully developed and batch a whole boatload of content. I know that batching can overwhelm some people, but there is an easier way. There's an easier process. The next sign is you're probably always feeling like you're one VA, virtual assistant, away from fixing everything. Spoiler, you're not. You're not. Just because you think having a VA is going to simplify things and fix things, here's the problem. And I've dealt with this personally. You can't bring somebody in thinking that they're going to fix your problems. You need to have processes in place, because what's going to happen is you're going to hire a VA. They're going to come into your business, and you are going to spend more time training your VA on the process that you want them to take, that you should have already had in place, but the process that you want them to take. And then you're going to get to this point where it's like, why am I spending so much time training this person when I can just do it myself? And so you fire the VA and you go back to doing it yourself, still not integrating the process that you're trying to train the VA on in the first place. And now you're doing the whole madness cycle again. But then you think to yourself, like a few months later, nope, now it's time for a VA. I'm more clear on exactly the tasks that I want them to do. So you hire a new one. They come in. Your VA doesn't know your business. Your VA is there to assist you in your business, not run your business. And the way that they can best assist you in your business is if you have processes set up in place for your business. So the same cycle happens again. I've done this. I'm speaking from firsthand experience. Back in the day when I was brand new and I thought, hey, I'm going to scale early. I'm going to hire a VA and I'm going to look really cool. And I'm going to be like, yeah, my assistant, send it over. No. Do you know how many assistants I've gone through because I was not clear on my own darn systems? Don't even get me started. This is a message for all of them if they ever end up listening to this podcast. I am truly sorry. The problem was not you. It was me. It was me all along, and I fully, humbly admit that. The next sign is your revenue is so incredibly unpredictable. It's not because your offer sucks. Hear me when I say that. A lot of times we think, oh, I'm not making money. My offer sucks. Need to create something else. Need to create another digital product. Need to create another lead magnet. Something's not working. Now, in some cases, in a lot of cases, it can be your messaging. But hear me out when I say this. It's not because your offer sucks. It's because your pipeline delivery process is leaking somewhere. The follow-up, the follow-through, the delivery, somewhere it is having a gaping hole, and you are leaking leads, you are leaking opportunity, and ultimately you are leaking sales. So if every month to you feels like Groundhog Day to some extent, and Groundhog Day, for any of my younger generational listeners, it's an older movie where he wakes up every single day on Groundhog's Day. He's a news reporter and he goes, and it's like the day keeps repeating itself. Like everything is the same. And like day by day, he's like recognizing that it's the same day every day, and he's repeating it so that he basically already knows the conversations he's going to have. He knows the people he's going to run into. He's going to know this puddle on the street that he's going to step into and get all of his feet and socks and outfit wet. Like, it's just a constant repetition, but nothing is changing. Like, nothing's like getting better. Maybe his love life a little bit, but nothing is getting better, and it's kind of driving him crazy. And if you feel like you're scrambling to fix things like that, and these things should be on autopilot, then it's time that we start scaling to fix the things so you can get better. So now that we've called out some of the chaos, and I'm just talking about like literally we've just scraped the surface. There's so many other things that can be chaotic, but I don't want to go all into that today, or this would be ridiculously long. What do we do about it? Because here's the trap that most people find themselves falling into. They think the answer is just get more leads, just crank up the marketing, throw more bodies into the problem, sell harder. But if your back end is leaking, scaling faster just means you're breaking faster. Scaling faster just means you're breaking faster. Just because you think if I just market harder, if I just push harder, if I do more, if I crank it up, if I go, no, you are like hitting capacity. You're hitting the threshold, and something's going to just crack. So before you even think about pushing for more growth, you need to audit and fix the foundation first. Otherwise, you're just pouring water into a bucket with a gaping hole in the bottom of it. So let's break down what you can actually look for and look at first in your business to kind of get this ball rolling. Well, number one is before chasing growth, you got to audit the chaos. So I want you to stop and sit back and take a look at your business, or take a look at your day-to-day, and be humble and honest with yourself and say, where am I feeling most chaotic? Where am I stressed out? Is it just content creation? A lot of times that's what it is. Some of us aren't great at creating content. Some of us aren't great at writing great hooks. Some of us aren't great at writing captions. Some of us just suck being on camera. Some of us just want to show our hands. And a lot of times, all of these things can be incredibly overwhelming, and they get us stuck. We like short circuit and just freeze up, right? We just don't move. And if it starts with content, but maybe it's a little bit deeper for you, maybe it is your client onboarding system, or your retention system, or your follow-up system, whatever it might be, you have to audit what's not working so that we can address that. And if you are struggling with where to even start, DM me on Instagram, hey, Whitney K. Seriously, let's have a conversation. We can have a discovery call. There's nothing for you to pay for. I get on the phone call with you. I look at where you're struggling, and I kind of point out areas that you can fix right away, because I'm really good at recognizing the holes in people's businesses and helping you fill them or push through them so that we can get your business floating and on a stronger infrastructure moving forward. The second thing that you want to look at is your client journey. A lot of times, and I've done this in the past when I like crack up at myself, when I was like back in the day, it was like I was creating the products and I was creating more of the products, and I wasn't even going through the process of what my client would have to go through or from like interest, like peaked interest, from sale to delivery to follow up. I was just thinking, if I create the product, they're going to buy. What do I have to worry about after that? All of it. All of it. So where are you losing trust, momentum, and upsells? Ask yourself that question and see if you can find some holes in your business ship that we can plug and start fixing. Then you want to look at your internal processes. This can be messy, but let me tell you, it does not take that much work to get it all snatched up and good and working for your business. But internal processes can be messy. So you got to ask yourself, what's still manual that I can possibly automate? I'm going to be going into eventually. I just don't know where I'm going to do it, whether it's going to be on this podcast or if I'm going to do like a live. But I have found so many different, or I don't want to say different, additional skill sets with Chat GPT that I am mind blown. Now, I've been creating custom Chat GPTs for a while now, but I have been doing it all wrong. Yep, you hear me say it first. Now, I'm not going to say that they weren't working for me because they absolutely were. But when I realized what you could really be doing with them and incorporating other AI tools in the mix, oh my goodness, like a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. I digress. But anyways, figure out what you are still manually doing and what can be automated or just assisted faster. Then the next thing you want to look at is communication. Where do balls get dropped between team members, and your clients? All right. There is always a way to improve communication, in my opinion. When it comes to our buyer personas, we have so many different personality types, and understanding those personality types and applying the communication to your business processes as well as your business brand messaging to communicate to those buyer types and then have them funnel into your systems internally so that not only do they feel comfortable and like you're communicating directly to them, but also that you feel comfortable because you are communicating directly to them. And then this also applies to your team internally, if you have one, whether they are in-house or remote. The next thing you want to look at is build a repeatable backbone. So, like I said, when I struggled at really looking at my client journey, I was not looking at the full journey, the repeatable backbone. I was looking at just the product that I was offering the client. That was it. But in a repeatable backbone, you want to look at the offers, the onboarding or the sales process, the delivery, and then the renewal or the upsell or the follow-up. So there's an entire cycle that your buyers, your clients, your customers go through. And you want to look at that entire cycle that they go through to ensure that there's no gaping holes and things aren't falling through the cracks. So document one messy process this week. Seriously, document just one messy process and start turning your chaos into clarity. Whatever the process is, write down exactly how you're going through it, and then you can find tools to help you automate, streamline, make more efficient these processes. Where a lot of times, I said this on a TikTok that I did the other day, where I was like, a lot of times when it comes to AI, we're adopting these tools and these platforms and trying to apply them to our business just because they're fads or everybody's talking about them. And we're like, oh yeah, I need this for my business. No, you don't. How do you even know? Find the hole first. Find the problem first. And then find the tool to help you fix the problem or better streamline the problem to make things easier for you in your business. So look, you don't need a bigger dream board, okay? You need a backend that doesn't fall apart every time that you get busy. No more like goal setting and dream wishing and manifesting. Like that's great, good for you, that's awesome, but that's not going to build the business. That is not going to build the business. I might not make some people happy saying that, but you need the back end that's not going to fall apart every time you get busy. You need a back end that's going to be sustainable even when you are busy. Another thing to think about is scaling isn't some magical secret reserved for just a few lucky entrepreneurs. It's honestly, it's what happens when you handle your operations like a real business owner. Not like I said at the very beginning, like you're duct taping things together in between client calls. And if you're realizing, okay, yeah, I'm tired, I'm sick of scrambling, and I'm ready to actually build a business that can scale without breaking me, then that's where I come in, okay? I can help you get under the hood, find the leaks, and then we can fix them for good. So you can finally run a business that grows without feeling bottlenecked. There's nothing more frustrating and draining and overwhelming than feeling like somebody's got a stronghold around the neck of your business. So if you're serious about scaling smarter and not harder, and you're ready to put together actual solutions and not just another course or a template, then again, DM me on Instagram and let's talk. It's Hey Whitney K. DM me there. Let's start up a conversation and let's see how we can get your business built on a stronger foundation. Thanks for taking the time to listen in to today's episode on Uno Mas Podcast. What can you do to support the show moving forward? Well, you can subscribe on your favorite platform, leave a review or a rating, because it's your reviews that matter most, and it's your reviews that help us get the show discovered by new listeners. And don't forget to share this episode with your friends, family, and followers on all your social media accounts, tagging me at the Whitney K or at Uno Mas Podcast for a spotlight feature on our social platforms. Now, if you're a female entrepreneur who's ready to ditch the overwhelm, stream your business operations, and create a brand that deeply resonates with your audience, it's time to take the next step. Visit Eden with an IDEN.agency to learn more about my strategic synergy partnership, a personalized one-on-one partnership experience where we'll work together to implement the tools, systems, and strategies you need to scale with confidence, save time, and achieve sustainable growth. Don't wait. Your business deserves clarity, efficiency, and success. So let's make it happen together.